The following clip was captured by Amanda, who's had some of the strangest encounters inside her home. About 2 weeks after she moved in, she woke up one morning to shocking news. A body had been found in her backyard. And according to Amanda, ever since that day, the house hasn't felt the same. Have a look.
I am freaked the f out. I just got home and tell me why my chairs are like this. Like, what the f? I literally still have my coat on. I come walking through the fucking... Oh my god. I'm like shaking right now. I just went and dropped my daughter off to her dad's house. And all the chairs were around the table. What the f? Oh my god. I need to call my mom.
Chairs don't end up like this by accident, and this is not something caused by drafts, pets, or structural shifts. In paranormal discussions, this kind of activity is often linked to an intelligence trying to be noticed, especially when the setup is visually striking rather than destructive. Since then, Amanda says doors open on their own, lights flicker and malfunction, and the house feels different, heavier, quieter, like something is always just out of view. Some believe the discovery of the body may have triggered residual energy tied to trauma, while others think the attention and disturbance surrounding the property may have awakened something that was already there. Skeptics argue stress and fear can heighten awareness, making ordinary issues feel sinister, but others point out that recurring physical changes, especially ones involving multiple objects, are harder to dismiss. Now, Amanda just wants to know one thing. Is there a chance this all has a normal explanation? Or is this a situation that requires real intervention before it escalates? What do you think? This next video was captured by a family's security camera, installed after everyone in the house woke up to a loud bang in the middle of the night, followed by several other unsettling incidents they couldn't explain. Hoping to catch whatever was happening, they set up cameras. Take a look. Aside from the obvious breathing sound, viewers immediately notice something else. On the right side of the screen, along the staircase, something moved. When the family reviewed this footage, it made other moments fall into place. Just weeks earlier, the sister of one of the couples living here called her and asked what she was doing standing on her front porch. Now here's the problem. She wasn't home. She was at work, nowhere near the house. But the anxiety in the house escalated when the family noticed their dogs reacting. Watch this.
front of. Knock it off. Hey. Barking at the door again. No one's there. Go qui. No one's there, honey. Nobody's here. It's all good. It's all good in the hood.
The dog repeatedly barks at the door, staring at it with focus. Not playful, not distracted, but locked in, as if responding to something it can sense but humans can't. Animals are often said to react to subtle changes in energy, sound frequencies, or presence long before people do. And when pets fixate on empty spaces, doors, or corners, many believe it's because something unseen has crossed into our world. And if you look at the activities they've experienced, the breathing caught on camera, the movement on the stairs, the mimic sighting on the porch, and the dogs reacting, this no longer feels like a single incident. It feels like a pattern. So could this be heightened anxiety and coincidence? Or is something inside the house slowly making itself known, watching, copying, and waiting? You decide. Now, in this next video, Nate, who's been trying to get to the bottom of whatever is happening inside his house, captures something new on camera. By now, his experiences follow a disturbing pattern. He wakes up to objects scattered across his kitchen floor, his dog refuses to enter certain corners of the house, and the sound of footsteps moving along the stairs when no one else is home. One night, while waiting for a UFC fight to start, he begins hearing something unusual. Listen closely.
Guys, I want you guys to check this out. So, I'm just chilling here, waiting for the UFC fights to start. Dog's there. And I'm just sitting here. I was re-racking my weights. And I was hearing the scratching. And it sounded like it was coming from like right in front of me. But I don't see anything. Like, up. I heard it. But I was like looking. And it sounded like it was coming from like... You hear that? What the f*** is that? It sounded like it was coming from like right in front here, but... I don't see anything else. What the f... Like, I have no clue.
Hearing scratching or dragging sounds can mean something is trying to mark territory or test physical boundaries, especially when it happens repeatedly in the same areas of a home. Another detail viewers couldn't ignore is Nate's environment. His house is almost always dark. Many believe prolonged darkness, cluttered spaces, and low lighting can make activity feel stronger, either by heightening fear or, according to paranormal belief, by creating conditions where negative entities feel more comfortable. Another night, a different sound woke him. This time, it wasn't scratching, it was stomping, and when Nate got up to check the house, this happened.
Hey guys. So I was upstairs and was woken up to the sound of stomping down here. I mean, loud stomping. It is currently 2:52 a.m. So it's a little before 3 a.m. And the weird thing about it is when I woke up to the sound of the stomping, the dog was sleeping, not even alerted. It's almost like she couldn't hear it. So As soon as I came down, I walked into like a cold spot. It felt like a certain area was cold. But it was loud. It was such a loud stomp. Like I said, it's 2:50, 3 a.m. Where that came from. All right.
Scratching, stomping, footsteps, all familiar at this point. But what truly unsettled him was something else entirely. His dog didn't react. Normally, animals respond instantly to loud physical sounds, yet during the stomping, his dog remained unusually calm, as if it either couldn't hear it or didn't perceive it the same way Nate did. Some believe the dog may have already learned to avoid reacting, but this concern quickly became secondary, because the next morning, Nate woke up to something far more disturbing: scratches on his body. If this had happened once, it's easy to say he accidentally scratched himself while he was asleep, a reaction to fabric, even stress-related skin irritation. But it didn't stop. It kept happening. And on the morning after the stomping incident, he recorded this. Watch.
So the people that were asking for a better view of the scratch that I woke up with on my leg, here it is. Like I said, it's not super deep, but it goes down pretty far. And I also noticed on the opposite side, I have two here on the same leg, but on the opposite side, that I woke up this morning with. Now, these ones didn't burn as bad as this one. This one was 2 mornings ago when I woke up. This burned, and I looked down and saw that. And then this morning when I got up at like 2:30 a.m., I woke up to stomping downstairs. And it wasn't until after I worked out and everything that I noticed these. So, yeah, that's the update.
As Nate shows the marks on his body, many viewers begin connecting everything. The scratching sounds at night, the dragging noises, the stomping footsteps, and now, physical marks appearing while he sleeps. This points to something more than a simple house haunting. Physical interaction, especially repeated scratching, is often cited in cases involving attachments rather than locations. Some believe this points towards something escalating, moving from environmental disturbances to personal interaction. Others think whatever is in the house may be trying to assert control, feeding on fear, isolation, or even exhaustion. And the most disturbing part, the activity isn't random anymore. It's consistent, and it's getting closer. So whether it's an attachment, an oppressive presence, or something feeding off the darkness and silence, one thing is clear. Whatever this is, it's no longer staying in the shadows. And until Nate gets answers, this case remains deeply unsettling and completely unsolved. In the following video, a woman's first son is home alone, quietly watching TV when he suddenly hears someone call his name. At first, he doesn't think much of it, until he responds and hears the voice again. This time, it sounds exactly like his little brother. Watch.
Hola. ¿Quién es?
Soy yo, tú. ¿Quieres jugar a la pelota?
Pero la Chu no se había ido al médico con mi madre. ¡Hijo de p***!
Hola, Michael. No, si la Chu está acá en el médico. Estamos en el médico acá. Vamos a demorar un poco para llegar. No estamos en casa.
The confusion sets in immediately. His brother isn't home. He's at the hospital with their mother, waiting to see a doctor. so there's no possible reason for his voice to be inside the house. But many viewers believe he didn't handle the situation well when he responded. In paranormal folklore, responding to a voice you can't verify is often considered a mistake, especially when the voice belongs to someone who physically isn't there. Many believe mimics rely on acknowledgement, and once you answer, you're confirming awareness, opening the door for further interaction. That's why one of the most repeated rules in cases like this is simple: don't respond, don't investigate, and don't follow the voice. As for what this could be, most people landed on two possibilities: a mimic or a doppelganger. And while the terms are often used interchangeably online, there's an important difference. A mimic imitates voices to provoke a response. It doesn't need to be seen. It feeds on confusion and fear, using familiar voices to draw someone in, often calling names or repeating phrases. Also, it's usually heard before it's ever seen, if it's seen at all. A doppelganger, on the other hand, is typically visual. It's believed to appear as a full physical copy of a person, seen walking, standing, or watching, sometimes even interacting briefly before disappearing. Doppelgangers are less about sound and more about presence. In this case, there's no figure, no visual confirmation, just a voice, perfectly copied, calling out from inside the house. That leans heavily toward a mimic, and once a voice knows you'll answer, it rarely stops calling. So, which was it? You decide. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the infamous Boyd house. At this point, he's still inside the room with the haunted painting, the same room where the power mysteriously died the moment the artwork was brought in. Earlier, Ian heard a heavy dragging sound echo through the room. Most people would have left immediately, but Ian didn't. Instead of backing out, he stayed put and began slowly scanning the room, hoping to capture something. Watch closely.
See if anyone's out in the hallway here. Oh my god. Calm down. Calm down. That sounded like a growl. And worst of all, it came from that closet that I was just in. Okay. Oh gosh. Gosh. Oh, whoa, what the hell is that? Dude, what the Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I'm ready to get the hell out of here. There's something in there. There's something in there.
Aside from the low, unsettling growl that can be heard, something far more disturbing appears on his thermal camera. When you look closer, the shape resembles a distorted human face, and this room has a long history of activity. Ever since that painting arrived, the disturbances seem to center there. No electricity, sudden noises, and now, a possible manifestation. Many believe cursed objects can act as anchors, giving something a place to attach itself, feed from, and eventually show itself. If that's true, then this raises an unsettling question. Was this the first time the entity tied to the painting allowed itself to be seen? Or has it always been there, just waiting for someone to stay long enough to notice it? For more haunting videos, including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was captured inside the Old Gila County Jail in Globe, Arizona, widely considered one of the most haunted locations in the state. Since its closure in 1981, the jail has become a hotspot for paranormal investigations and has even appeared on shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. One of the jail's most disturbing stories centers around a former inmate whose life ended inside his cell in 1911 while he was awaiting trial for the drowning of 2 young girls. In the days leading up to his death, he claimed the spirits of those girls were visiting him, tormenting him inside his cell. To this day, visitors report sudden drops in temperature, an overwhelming sense of dread, and faint sobbing near his former cell in cell block B. Over the years, guests and investigators have also reported being touched, scratched, or pushed by unseen forces, along with disembodied voices, unexplained footsteps, and loud bangs echoing through the second floor. On this particular night, a group of investigators set up a camera at the foot of one of the staircases. Watch closely.
I hear something in here now. Whatever it is, we had to have gotten on this line. Yep, oh, I guarantee we did. Just more on worry about it. You might need to walk through and see what's going on.
This voice is impressive on its own, but what makes it even more compelling is that one of our two investigators talking at the top of the stairs, discussing their worry about the rain, caught the same voice from one of their cameras. Take a listen.
Here, Riley?
Yeah.
We let this video extend a bit longer to give you a comparison of the three voices heard in this clip, our two investigators' voices and the third disembodied voice. To add to the mystery surrounding these stairs, less than 2 hours later, another camera at the top of these stairs automatically shuts itself off. Our team hurried to figure out what happened to the camera, realizing that we need to fix this unknown issue downstairs at base camp. This is what happened. After going through over 3 hours of footage, listening through the heavy rain and natural echoes through the prison, this voice is only heard twice. What are your thoughts?
Some believe it may be connected to the inmate whose restless presence is said to linger near the upper floors, while others think it could be something even older tied to the jail itself. It's moments like this that remind people why the old Gila County Jail continues to be an enigma, one that refuses to give up its secrets. Now this next clip comes from a guy named Chris, who regularly explores abandoned buildings with long, often unsettling histories. In this particular video, he's inside one of those locations alone, documenting the space when something strange is caught on camera. Watch closely.
Did you hear that? That was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
At first, there's a loud bang that echoes through the building, sharp enough to make him freeze. Almost immediately after, you can see something shift in the frame, subtle but unmistakable. Chris later explains that in that exact moment, it felt like someone reached out and grabbed him by the shoulder. When this video surfaced, reactions were split. Viewers unfamiliar with Chris and his work were quick to dismiss it as post-production editing or a staged effect. But longtime followers pointed out that Chris doesn't usually sensationalize his footage, and that abandoned structures like this are often unpredictable, both structurally and otherwise. Whether it was something physical, something paranormal, or just a moment caught at the worst possible time, one thing is clear: whatever happened in that building left Chris visibly shaken. And for many who've explored places like this before, that reaction says more than the footage itself. In the following video, a man says he's been dealing with a persistent and unsettling feeling that someone is inside his house with him. And whenever that feeling hits, it's not subtle. His chest suddenly feels heavy, like the air around him has thickened, making it hard to breathe normally. He describes it as a pressure that comes out of nowhere, usually late at night when the house is quiet. One night, that same feeling returned. Instead of brushing it off, he picked up his phone, hoping to finally catch whoever or whatever was causing it. But what he ended up recording was something he didn't expect at all. Watch closely. After seeing this, he says he's now convinced that something is moving freely inside his home, aware of his presence, but careful about when it reveals itself. Some viewers believe this could explain the physical sensations he's been feeling, suggesting that intense fear or stress can manifest as chest pressure when someone senses danger. Paranormal investigators often approach situations like this in different ways. Some believe acknowledging the presence gives it strength, while others suggest setting firm boundaries, cleansing the space, or even temporarily leaving the home to break whatever attachment may exist. And then there are those who say that when your instincts keep warning you, when your body reacts before your mind does, it's not something to ignore. Because sometimes when your gut tells you you're not alone, it might already be too late to pretend otherwise. This next video is about Kyle, who has been living in this house for about a year and a half, and whatever is happening there has never stayed in one place. The activity seems to move freely through the home, starting in the crawl space, then shifting to the attic, later the garage, and now even the rooms where he sleeps. Kyle reports hearing children laughing in empty hallways, objects shifting when no one is near them, and sudden noises that don't repeat in the same location twice. Hoping to find a logical source, Kyle decides to check the attic himself, thinking maybe there's something hidden or overlooked that could explain everything. But what he finds only raises more questions. Watch.
Shit. Oh my god. Shit. Damn it. I'm hearing voices up here again. Yo. There's like a little kid laughing. Surely you heard that. Oh man, it's getting funny at this point. What the heck? I think some of y'all are right. I think ever since I put that ornament that I found up here on the Christmas tree, things have been a little wild. Happy holidays, I guess. Okay, maybe it's time to get out of here. I thought I was going to come up here and look around, see if I could find anything else, but we might have to... Maybe I just need to get a friend to come with me or something. Yeah, we'll see about that.
At first, Kyle believes he's only hearing voices, but if you look closely, a figure appears to be standing completely still directly in front of him. Some viewers also point out faint orbs drifting through the frame, and combined with the voices, many believe the attic was already fully active before Kyle ever stepped inside. Whether this is a single entity moving through the house or something far more complex, one thing is clear: the activity in Kyle's home isn't slowing down. Now in this next video, a man shares footage that many viewers say proves that renovating a house doesn't erase whatever energy is already there. Here's a bit of background. The house was originally built in 1949 and has gone through several renovations over the years. At the time this video was recorded, it was still occupied by an elderly woman, and the man in the clip would regularly come by to carry out remodeling work. But according to him, every time he stepped into the house, something felt off. He described sudden cold spots, the uneasy feeling of being watched, and no matter how long he stayed, he never felt fully alone. One day, while working in the basement, something happened right in front of him. Watch. Viewers were quick to point out that there's no obvious explanation for how it shifts the way it does. Some believe the age of the house plays a role, that decades of lived experiences, emotions, and unresolved events can leave something behind, especially in places like basements where energy is said to linger. Others think the activity could be tied to the former owner herself, or even the tension surrounding the home. Shortly after this was recorded, the elderly woman was moved into a nursing home and the house was put up for sale. According to the man, the family had already begun arguing over money and her will, creating even more unrest around the property. Whether it's residual energy from the past, something attached to the house itself, or just another unexplained moment caught on camera, this home seems to carry more than just its history, and whatever moved that chair may not be finished making its presence known. In this next clip, a family was settling in for the night, watching a horror movie called The Deliverance, a film inspired by the real-life 2011 Demon House case of LaToya Ammons in Gary, Indiana. Everything felt normal at first, just another scary movie night, until the atmosphere inside the house began to change. Right in the middle of the film, the power suddenly went out in the parlor. Almost immediately after, the family felt a heavy shift in the room, the unmistakable sensation that someone had just walked into the living room with them. Panicked, they went to their rooms, hoping whatever it was would stop there. But whatever entered the house that night wasn't finished. Watch.
Oh, hell no! Bro, what the? Oh, hell no, you gotta go.
After this encounter, the family swore off horror movies completely. Many viewers believe films based on real events can stir up fear, emotion, and attention, things that some say act like an invitation. Others argue it's a coincidence, that the tension from the movie simply heightened their senses. But there are also those who warn that once something makes itself known, it doesn't always leave on its own. The real concern now is whether this was a one-time incident, or the beginning of something that plans to come back when the house goes quiet again. What do you think? Now, in this next video, a family's dog has been acting strangely. and what it reacts to has left viewers uneasy. Watch closely. The dog is clearly seeing something no one else can see, but two details immediately stand out. First, the family doesn't seem overly concerned. They brush it off, suggesting the dog is simply acting out or responding to a random noise. And second, when the dog becomes more agitated, they shush it, a moment that made many viewers uncomfortable. A lot of people believe animals sense changes in their environment long before humans do, especially when it comes to unfamiliar presences or sudden shifts in energy. What makes this even stranger is that only one dog reacts. So, what do you think? An overreactive pet? Or the only one in the house paying attention? Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through the haunted buildings of Bonanzaville. Still inside the mansion, he enters one particular bedroom that many visitors say feels different from the rest. This is the room where people have reported seeing an imprint on the bed, as if someone is lying there even when the room is empty. It's also believed to be the very room where the mansion's owner, David, passed away. Watch closely.
Well, doesn't really look like it. David, did you die in this room? I heard you died of a brain hemorrhage, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Are you the one that leaves the imprint on the pillow? Could you do it right now? What the heck is that? What is that? Mom? Somebody downstairs? What the heck is that? It's like a jingling sound. What the heck is that? It's down there.
After leaving the room, Ian starts hearing unexplained sounds coming from downstairs. As he follows the sound, he captures something even more unsettling.
Wait a minute. Look at that. Dude, those things are freaking moving. Oh, hell no. Hell no. How is that even possible? Look at that. You're freaking moving like crazy. And that's our seance table. That's even more terrifying. Oh god. How is that even happening? There's no air in here or anything. Oh god. Look at that. They're still moving. Oh, what? Dude, this camera just died.
The crystals on the lamp begin swaying back and forth aggressively, far more than a draft or vibration could explain. What makes this moment even stranger is what happens next. As Ian approaches the table, both of his cameras suddenly die, despite showing full battery just moments earlier. Almost immediately, Ian begins to feel lightheaded, overwhelmed, and uneasy, sensations many investigators associate with intense paranormal encounters. Realizing something may not want him there anymore, Ian makes the decision to leave the mansion. Was this a warning, or something following him all along? You decide. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was captured by a family late at night, just after dinner, while they were spending some quiet time together in their living room. Nothing unusual was happening. No tension, no fear, just a normal family winding down for the night. But what they captured on camera has since left many viewers unsettled. Watch closely.
No manches. Mira, 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 no. Tranquilo. No mames, güey. Ah, su máquina, no manches, no manches. Súbanse, 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 súbanse. ¿Qué es eso, cabrón?
According to the family, they've been dealing with a disturbing pattern of activity for quite some time now. Objects move around the house without explanation. Strange, shadowy figures have been spotted just outside their front door, often at odd hours of the night when no one else is outside. But the most terrifying part is the knocking. Every single day, without fail, one of the doors in the house gets knocked on. Sometimes the knocks are faint, slow and deliberate, like someone testing to see if anyone will respond. Other times, they're violent and aggressive, shaking the door so hard it sends the entire household into panic. What makes it even more unsettling is that the knocking doesn't follow a pattern. It doesn't matter who's home, what time it is, or whether the house is completely quiet. It happens anyway. And no matter how quickly they check, no one is ever there. For now, the family continues to live in fear, unsure of what's causing these relentless disturbances. And until more answers come to light, this remains one of the most unsettling cases we've seen. In this next video, a man encountered something truly terrifying while walking alone through a forest. At first, everything seemed normal, just the sound of footsteps, rustling leaves, and the quiet isolation you'd expect deep in the woods. But then, he noticed something was off. Watch closely. What many believe he captured is known in folklore as a Hidebehind creature. According to paranormal lore, the Hidebehind is a tall, predatory entity said to stalk people in forests and wooded areas. Its most disturbing trait is its ability to remain unseen by always staying just out of direct view, hiding behind trees, rocks, or any vertical object no matter how thin. No matter how fast a person turns around, the creature is said to move faster, positioning itself perfectly to avoid being fully seen. Witnesses often describe the feeling of being watched long before they ever notice anything on camera. A sudden heaviness in the air, the silence of wildlife, and an instinctive fear that tells you something is wrong even when you can't explain why. Whether this was a trick of the shadows, an unknown animal, or something far more sinister, one thing is certain. After an experience like this, most people say they never return to that forest again. And honestly, who would? Now in this next clip, a security guard shares footage from his workplace that left him shaken. During a routine shift, he saw something moving. Look closely at the rug.
Look at I saw that shit. I saw that shit. See, I saw that shit. And I'm like, and then it disappeared over there by the desk. And I'm like, okay. So I looked at the camera. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna calm down. So I wanted to tell the camera, y'all see that shit? Y'all saw that shit, right? I'm telling CHA, did y'all see that? Okay.
In the lower right corner, a white figure can be seen moving across the rug. What makes this incident more disturbing is that it didn't end there. In the days that followed, the guard says strange things started happening around his workspace. He arrived one morning to find a cabinet door wide open, one he's certain he had closed before leaving. On another occasion, the phone on his desk began moving on its own, sliding slightly as if someone had brushed past it. Individually, these events could be brushed off: a draft, a loose hinge, a vibrating surface. But taken together, a visible figure crossing the floor, objects being moved, doors opening, it starts to feel less random and more deliberate. Almost like whatever he saw that night didn't just pass through, it lingered. Some believe this could be the spirit of a former employee or someone connected to the building replaying familiar routines. But until more footage or updates surface, what exactly walked across that rug and why it chose that moment to reveal itself remains a mystery. In the following video, a man named David opens up about a series of disturbing experiences that have completely shaken his sense of safety inside his own home. At first, David believed the activity was centered around one specific object, a doll he owned. According to him, the presence attached to it didn't feel aggressive at first, but distressed, emotional, and almost desperate. On several occasions, David claims he heard a voice coming from the doll, repeatedly crying out the name Daniel, almost as if it were calling for someone who never came back. Some viewers believe the voice may be asking for forgiveness. Others think the spirit is reliving a traumatic moment, trapped in a loop it can't escape. One night, desperate for distraction from the growing tension in the house, David sits down to watch the sitcom Friends. But even the familiar laughter of Joey and Chandler doesn't help, because suddenly, he hears a voice. Watch closely.
Está inquieta. Suki. Saben que me duermo así por el calor que me da. ¿Escucharon? Y se me... Les tiene como miedo. Ay, no. Otra vez. Otra vez la pinche ventana. Siempre muestro para que vean que no hay nadie. Nadie, ni nada. Y está bien inquieta Suki desde hace rato. ¿Qué pasó, mamá? Pasan de las 2 de la mañana apenas. Yo no sé qué pedo. ¿Vieron ¿Vieron cómo se abrió la puerta, no? Se tiene que abrir así. Suki. Suki. Ven, mi amor.
This time, the voice loudly shouts David's name. What makes this even more unsettling is the behavior of his cat. According to David, it's been extremely restless, freezing in place, staring into empty spaces, reacting to something David can't see. When David goes to check the window, he sees something absolutely terrifying. A creepy, unnatural-looking figure appears to be standing outside, and moments later, he hears someone knocking on his door. According to David, this isn't the first time. He claims this is the fourth face he's seen around his home. One of the most frequent and most disturbing is the face of an old man. Have a look.
Hasta 1:56 de la mañana. Me desperté porque sentí una mirada en mis sueños. Y me han dicho que no me intente comunicar con ellos. Quiero preguntarle quién es. Yo me duermo con la tele encendida. Alexa, luz del cuarto blanco frío. Se escucha así por el ventilador. No hay nada.
If you watch closely, you can see something that clearly resembles an elderly man moving. David completely loses it when it appears the figure might be trying to stand up, as if it's about to come closer. Adding to the fear, many viewers reviewing the footage also notice something near the window. This detail only intensifies the situation, suggesting David may not be dealing with just one presence. But many viewers still believe everything leads back to the doll. They speculate that the doll may have acted as a doorway, allowing multiple entities or manifestations to pass through, each presenting itself in a different form. So viewers asked David to show the doll, and where he kept it. Take a look.
Bueno chicas, bueno chicos, para los que me pedían que querían ver la muñeca en los lives, acuérdense que hago lives casi todos los días, jugando videojuegos de terror y tal. Entonces, me pedían que enseñara dónde está la muñeca. Este es mi cuarto donde trabajo y todo, al igual que en el otro, que es este de aquí. Es aquí. Pasó de ser cuarto de invitados a ser el cuarto de la muñeca, ¿no? Entonces, para los que me estaban diciendo que la grabara y todo eso, aquí está. ¿Sangró más? O no sé qué carajo sea eso. Yo ya no pienso que sangre, sino miren, hasta se le escurría por los ojos y todo. Los que sepan de esto pues ya sabrán lo de cómo regresó y todo. No le hagan caso a eso. Eso lo tengo porque acuérdense que trabajo para YouTube y tal. No le hagan caso. Hace ratito grabé algo y así está. Y me decían que lo pusiera en el Salmo 92. Ahí está. Lo leí y todo eso. Pero cada vez que se entra a este cuarto, pues sí se da como mala vibra y todo. Sí se siente un ambiente pesado. Curioso, las hojas empiezan como a doblar. Ya vieron, deberían de estar así parejitas como ahí, pero solo de ese lado como que se doblan. Entonces, pues pasó esto, de ser un cuarto de invitados, una tele y todo, a ser el cuarto de la muñeca. Y a veces trabajo aquí, lo cual es más jodido porque siento como que la presión de eso, pero en fin. Para los que querían verlo, ahí está. Chido One. Vámonos que aquí es pan. ¿Ven? Por eso cuando me dicen en los directos que haga tal cosa y demás, y yo siempre muestro así todo para que, porque luego no faltan los sonsos que dicen, ay, es que hay alguien escondido. ¿Y dónde? ¿Dónde hay alguien escondido? ¿Dónde? Estos son cables que tengo aquí de mouse y de cosas que no uso. ¿Dónde? Aquí hay cajas que tienen porquerías que no usamos. Mira cómo está la Biblia. ¿Vieron cómo se movió? Estaba acá. Y para los que me dicen que la queme o que la rompa o algo así,
David reveals that he locked the doll inside the guest room, securing it in a cage. On top of that, he placed a Bible over the cage in an attempt to contain whatever might be attached to it. But while he's still explaining how he managed to subdue it, the Bible suddenly falls off. And worse, the doll has changed position. David says many people have advised him to burn the doll, others suggest burying it. But he's also been warned that trying to get rid of objects like this can make things far worse. There are countless stories of people attempting to destroy haunted dolls, only for them to reappear. So if you were in David's position, would you destroy it, or keep it locked away and hope nothing else comes through? In this next clip, a guy heads back to his studio late at night after realizing he forgot his phone charger. What should have been a quick in and out trip turned into something far more unsettling the moment he got to the entrance. Watch closely.
¿Qué les dije a la verga? Miren, voy a entrar. Miren, para que vean que no hay nadie adentro. Todo en una toma. Perdón con mis 20,000 vueltas, pero es una llave de seguridad. Miren. O sea, no ha salido nadie, miren. No mames.
According to him, things in the studio haven't felt right ever since he moved an old mirror into the bathroom. Almost immediately after, he began noticing small but disturbing changes, objects not being where he left them, strange sounds echoing through the space, and an overwhelming feeling that he wasn't alone, even when the studio was empty. But the mirror isn't the only thing raising eyebrows. Viewers were quick to point out the presence of a doll inside the studio, insinuating that the mirror might not be the cause at all, but merely the trigger, disturbing something that was already there. So is the mirror the doorway? Is the doll the vessel? Or is there something else tied to the studio itself that's finally making its presence known? I'll leave this one for you to be the judge. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo investigation at the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. This time, Ian makes his way up to the 3rd floor infirmary. And by the name alone, the infirmary of an old jail is a place no one wants to spend time in. This was where sick, injured, and dying inmates were brought, often too late for help. So when Ian steps inside, he immediately notices a drastic drop in temperature, the kind of cold that doesn't just chill the air, but sinks straight into your bones. And then, something happens. Watch closely.
and now it's completely gone. How do you explain that? No way. No way. I just heard footsteps. Hello? Who's up here? Holy crap, what is going on up here? What the heck is that? Oh, shh. What the heck is that? Oh, shh. It sounds like two people talking now. Sheriff? Is that you? Are you talking with your wife? What was that? Oh my god. Something just moved. Look. I gotta move this door. What? Oh my god. I just saw that cabinet door shut by itself.
Just seconds earlier, the cabinet was wide open, but now, right in front of him, the cabinet door closed. In locations like this, sudden temperature drops and object manipulation are often considered signs of intelligent activity. And in a place like the Infirmary, where so much pain and fear once lingered, it's hard not to wonder if something here is still watching. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. This next clip is an update from the family that once opened their door after weeks of strange knocking. The same family whose life changed from odd disturbances to full-blown haunting. Now, just when they thought things might calm down, the activity has escalated, and it's getting worse, especially around the kitchen. Watch.
Padre Santo. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad así en la tierra como en el cielo.
This isn't the soft, tentative knocking of before. This is aggressive, hard, demanding. It rattles the door's frame. It shakes the house. It doesn't stop after one or two knocks. It repeats, builds, as though whatever's on the other side has run out of patience and is desperate to get in. That alone raises a chilling question. They once opened the door, and after that, chaos followed. So why is there knocking again? Some believe when a spirit becomes comfortable with a house, it doesn't stay alone. It invites others. And those other presences tend to be far less patient, far more dangerous. With this kind of knocking, the thing behind the door could be far worse than what first showed up. Opening it may no longer just let in a curious specter, but something malevolent, something hungry. As desperate as this family must be, at this point, opening the door isn't an option. Not until they have a plan, or someone powerful enough to handle what might come through. If you were them, what would you do now? Change house? Set up protection? Call professionals? Whatever their next move is, one thing is certain. What's behind that door may be beyond anything they've seen before, and until we get more footage, more answers, or some clarity, this remains a mystery. This next clip is also an update from a previous investigation where a team of ghost hunters explored an old property that once belonged to an elderly couple who passed away, leaving the home abandoned for years. For days they've been at the house, documenting everything from soft knocks echoing through the hallway to objects subtly shifting whenever no one was looking. At one point, if they reached out to pick something up, no matter whether it was a notebook, a candle, or even a cup, the table would suddenly start vibrating violently until they dropped the item, almost like the spirit was warning them, "Don't touch my things." Even then, the investigators didn't leave. They felt strongly that whatever was there wasn't aggressive, only protective. So they tried something different, something that would confirm whether a spirit was truly responding to them. Watch this.
Da, nu știu, punem jos acolo.
Aici în casă?
Mai aici în spate la tablou. Au pisare asta, nu știu pe ceva.
Așa?
Da, nu contează.
Dar ce vrei să fac?
Hai să vezi acum șmecherie.
Explică-mi și mie.
Deci îl lăsăm pe Nea Gheorghe aici, da? Bun. Acum. Închidem balconul. Eu am prins care-i faza, ca să știți.
Lasă-mă și noi, poate murim noi, ca măcar...
Dar parcă n-ai mai murit.
Da, am murit, dar nu te mai am.
Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială, îți ordon să miști tabloul ăsta sau să-l dai jos sau...
Eu am murit.
Da? Deci ceva se lega. Nu mă sperii, nu rămân surprins. Fiindcă știam, eram sigur, 90% eram sigur că o să se întâmple chestia asta.
Adică când ne amândoi în balcon faci așa?
Da, fii atent. Păi așa că-l iau. Stai așa. Am luat pe Nea Gheorghe și lăsăm aici.
Și acum ce se întâmplă? Din timp murim?
Băi, oricare spirit te afla aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare suflet neliniștit, prin puterea primordială îți ordon să miști. Du-te, fă cu meciul tău, tragă meciul tău, l-o da jos să moară familia mea, l-o dau jos.
That moment was all the proof they needed, and after that, the house changed. The activity grew stronger. Watch.
Ia-l repede, ia-l!
O căzut singur. O căzut singur. Ai de pula mea. De pula mea.
Doamne, mi-am făcut cruci. Credeți-mă pe bunic, mi-am făcut cruci.
Doamne, credeți-mă, eu pentru mâine asta că nu
E gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâini.
E gata-i, nu mai, e gata-i.
Îl ard în tămâini.
O dispărut mâncați-l. Tu măi, Nea Gheorghe, măi.
Sfida-o cum stai așa.
Oricare spirit te află aici, îți ordon să faci ceea ce faci, să faci în fața camerei. Poza e jos, mă, acolo, rămas jos.
What came next sparked a completely different debate among viewers. Have a look.
Bun, Nea Gheorghe, dacă tot ești acolo lângă păpușa aia, Poți un pic să o miști sau să o faci să meargă. Deci dacă se mișcă păpușa, am plecat acasă, vă zic de pe acum. Băga mea și pula în dracu să-mi bag. Gata, ba pula în casa asta. Gata, fraților, v-am bat în casa asta. Ieși afară, băga mea și pula, nică ne omoară.
The discovery of those dolls shifted the entire conversation. Many began questioning whether the spirit they'd been communicating with was truly tied to the house, or tied to the dolls themselves. In the paranormal world, dolls are known to hold attachments. Spirits sometimes cling to them, reside in them, or even use them as vessels when they can't anchor themselves anywhere else. So now, there were two theories. Either the spirit belonged to someone who once lived in the home, or the previous owners unknowingly brought home a doll that already carried an attachment. After seeing those dolls move the way they did, the team didn't need any more convincing. They packed up their equipment, left the property immediately, and made it very clear they had no intention of spending another night inside that house. Now in this next video, a guy named Kyle, who you might remember from several of our previous videos, is still dealing with the same thing that's been tormenting him for months. Knocking sounds that seem to move from room to room, always following him, always getting louder. But this time, he was finally able to trace one of those knocks directly to the basement, and he discovered something that left him more confused than ever. Take a look.
Gosh dang it, I'm hearing that knocking sound again. There it is. Where is it coming from? Right there, right there. It's coming from this door. That's where it's been coming from. Somebody's knocking on that, or something is knocking on this freaking door. But there's nobody there, obviously. Well, at least I now know where it's coming from.
Finding no one at the door, no footsteps, not even a shadow fleeing the scene, left him with only one conclusion. Whatever is knocking isn't human. And honestly, after everything Kyle has been through in that house, this shouldn't even be surprising anymore. Because remember, this is the same guy who woke up one night and caught a dark figure standing frozen inside his crawl space, unmoving, just staring straight ahead as if it had been waiting for him. The same guy who's heard children laughing in the middle of the night, even though he has no kids, seen things in his attic shift around on their own, and has documented footsteps pacing inside the walls, things falling in the garage, small objects getting pushed across the floor, and the worst one yet, his home camera once caught a figure standing quietly beside his bed while he slept, vanishing just seconds before he woke up. All these incidents, from the crawl space, to the attic, to the garage, to his bedroom, and now the basement, connect in one disturbing pattern. Whatever is in this house moves freely, watches him, and makes itself known whenever it wants to. So until Kyle drops more updates, this remains one of the hardest cases to decode. In the following video, a guy and his partner have been dealing with something extremely unsettling inside their home. For days now, they've been coming back from work to find their living room and kitchen completely out of place. Pillows on the floor, cabinets half open, small items thrown across the room, and once, an entire stack of folded laundry scattered across the hallway as if someone walked through it intentionally. One of them insisted it had to be the cat, but the other argued that it didn't make sense. The cat isn't strong enough to knock over half the things they found on the ground. So, to settle the argument once and for all, they installed cameras. Here's what the camera caught. This clearly shows the cat is innocent, but it also confirms something else entirely. The couple now has another presence in the house, one they never invited and one they don't understand. And after seeing that footage, their minds immediately shifted from who did this to what exactly are we living with and how dangerous can it be? So look closely at the clips to see if you can piece things together. Watch. After this second clip, people in the comments began forming their own theories. Many said the movement feels exactly like a child spirit, but it didn't only happen during the day. Watch this. Now, how do you explain a chair rocking on its own in the middle of the night, almost as if someone was sitting in it and pushing off the ground with their feet? That detail alone shifted the conversation. Some viewers pointed out that this kind of night activity usually means the spirit is fully comfortable, too comfortable. Others believe the chair movement ties directly to the mess during the day, suggesting the same presence is active around the clock. If it really is a child spirit, it might not even realize it's causing fear, just doing what kids do, playing, exploring, touching things that don't belong to them. But until more updates are shared, and until the couple figures out exactly what kind of presence they're dealing with, this case remains completely unsolved. Now, this next video captures something that genuinely shook a lot of viewers, because it happened while Rebecca was homeschooling her kids. Watch.
2 and 0. So it's asking you which intervals in which the Y is increasing. Select all and apply. Okay, so now we have it. So we have here to here. So the first one, -6, okay? And then we have, then it goes down, 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 up, and up. Okay, so we have -6 and -6 and 0.
At first glance, your mind wants to go with the simplest explanation, that the tree was already hanging by a thread. But according to Rebecca, the tree was still firmly attached to its base. No visible damage, no rot, nothing that looked like it was about to collapse. And then people who slowed the footage down began noticing something else. Something that made the entire situation feel way less natural. Several viewers claimed they saw a figure moving behind the tree just seconds before it began shaking on its own. So was it gravity, a rare coincidence, or something attempting to reveal itself through the only object it could manipulate? You decide. In this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visited Bonanzaville, an open-air museum filled with preserved historic structures from different eras of North Dakota. There's the old haunted tavern where staff have reported glasses clinking on their own, the mansion said to echo footsteps long after closing, and even a small church where a shadowy figure is often seen slipping between the pews. And of course, Ian decided to walk through all of it completely alone. He started his investigation inside the old train shed, an authentic 1930s passenger coach where visitors have sworn they've seen a phantom conductor pacing the aisle. But for Ian, that night, the train shed was calm. Where things shifted was the next building he stepped into, the telephone museum. Watch.
These phones are dead. They're not even on. I'm not even sure if you'd even be able to make calls with it right now. Could you move this? The rotary dial? Whoa, what the? Dude, that was a freaking straight up phone ringing in that room. Holy crap, that scared me. Did you just make one of the phones ring in that room? was coming from that room over there. Oh, God. Well, I suppose. Let's go answer.
This museum has a long, unsettling history. Staff say the phones inside often ring on their own, connecting to other historical buildings across the property. But whenever someone picks up, it's only dead air. Others have reported seeing a ghostly woman drift through the aisles, appearing and disappearing between the old switchboards. So Ian, being Ian, decided to answer one of the ringing phones himself. Watch what happened.
Hello? Could you speak through this phone? Who called that phone earlier? Put my voice recorder up to it.
A faint whisper came through his recorder, and Ian couldn't tell whether the voice came through the phone or from somewhere else inside the room. Listen again. Some say the voice sounds like it's trying to speak directly to him. Others think it's the woman people claim to see in the building, but whether it's tied to the museum, the phones, or something else entirely, one thing is clear. Whatever haunts that building knew he was there. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded by a woman named Rosanna, who had started noticing something unsettling about a doll in her home. Still, she brushed it off, convincing herself it was just her imagination, especially since she usually noticed it shortly after taking her medication. She told herself she was probably seeing things, but to put her mind at ease, Rosanna decided to record the doll on her phone, planning to review the footage the next day to finally confirm whether anything strange was really happening. Take a look.
C'est quoi? Oh non. Le carton qui est là-bas, là, oh, je sais même plus parler. C'est une poupée. C'est des poupées. Et je vous assure, j'en ai vu une courir. Je sais pas laquelle. Et il faut que je les descende à la cave. Mais là, c'est la nuit. J'ai pas envie de croiser la vieille. C'est quoi? C'est quoi? C'est pas vrai. C'est trop.
If you watch closely, the doll had a straight face when she first picked it up, but moments later, its face seems to change, almost as if it's smiling. When Rosanna reviewed the footage the next day, the realization hit her hard, and whatever she captured didn't feel imagined anymore, so she destroyed the doll herself, believing that would end it. But many people weren't convinced it was over. Some warned that destroying an object tied to strange activity doesn't always stop it, and in some cases, it can make things worse. We can only hope that isn't the case here. The guy in this next video has been having trouble sleeping for weeks now. Every single night, right around 1 a.m., someone comes to his door and starts knocking. Not just a quick knock, but slow, deliberate taps that last long enough to make his heart race. Knowing what people say about opening doors at strange hours, he stays in his room, frozen, whispering protective words and trying not to make a sound. But on this particular night, his fear gets the better of him. With his phone in hand, shaking, he starts recording, hoping to at least have proof of what's been happening. Watch closely.
No sé qué pasa, boludo. Estoy en mi pieza queriendo dormir, boludo, y me tocan la puerta toda la noche, amigo. Son como las 1 de la mañana. No hay nada. No, amigo, ¿qué mierda es eso, boludo? ¿Qué mierda sos, la concha de tu madre? Boludo, no. Amigo, no hay nadie, boludo. No. De hoy se está escuchando esa mierda. ¿Qué? No, boludo, no. No. Encima voy a buscar la ventana, boludo. No hay nadie, amigo. O sea, no hay chance que
que haya salido alguien por acá, boludo. No, amigo, no. No, amigo, de nuevo esto. Pero qué mierda, boludo. No, 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 qué ser, boludo.
This time, it isn't just the knocking. And what scares him the most is that he's ever opened the door. So how could anything get inside? Some believe whatever was knocking didn't need the door at all. Others think repeated attention may have weakened whatever boundary was protecting him. And then there are those who say the knocking was never about getting in. It was about letting itself be noticed. Until more updates are shared, this one remains a chilling mystery. Now, in this next clip, a woman named Simone shares what she says has been slowly haunting her home. At first, it's just a shadow, appearing briefly, then disappearing, always in the same areas of the house. But over time, things escalate. She starts hearing voices calling her name, some sounding exactly like loved ones who've passed away, others mimicking people who are still very much alive but nowhere near her. She also started hearing knocks and started having vivid, intense, and terrifying dreams, where something seems to chase her night after night. Feeling dismissed by everyone she confides in, Simone finally begins recording what's happening. Watch closely.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
What makes this especially disturbing is that whatever's in the house can now open doors on its own, and in many cases that's seen as a turning point, when activity shifts from passive to intentional. Some believe this kind of escalation can lead to constant oppression, sleep deprivation, emotional breakdowns, or even physical harm if left unchecked. Many suggest cleansing rituals, professional spiritual help, or removing anything that could be acting as a trigger. But others warn that the wrong advice, especially attempts at direct communication, can make things far worse. So what should Simone do? And what should she avoid at all costs? On the 26th of December 2025, this is what a family's security camera captured. Watch closely.
Voy a bajar, ¿sabes? Voy a bajar, a ver, mira cómo se... Oye, se escuchan como voces. Ya sé, tú, voy a bajar. Sí. Oigan, se escucha... Se está escuchando mucho ruido. Miren cómo se está moviendo el sillón. Todo eso en la cocina, se escucha ruido en la cocina. Uy. Se están accionando las cosas.
creo que ya las cosas hay que dejarlas así. Y es lo normal, amigos. Es lo normal, la verdad. Miren. Sí, qué raro. Los aparatos eléctricos, amigos, se vuelven locos.
Items move without anyone touching them. Strange, unexplained noises echo through the house, and electrical appliances have been malfunctioning. To many who believe in the paranormal, these signs are often connected. When the man finally goes downstairs to check what's going on, the most unsettling detail reveals itself. The rocking chair is still moving on its own. No one is near it, no breeze, no explanation, and the fact that it doesn't stop suggests whatever caused it wasn't afraid of being seen or caught on camera. So is this a spirit feeding off the home's energy or something else entirely? You decide. This next clip is about a man who thought he had finally solved the nightmare inside his home. For weeks, strange things had been happening, objects shifting when no one was near them, faint noises echoing through empty rooms, and an unsettling feeling that he was never truly alone. Eventually, his attention kept returning to one thing, a doll he had brought into the house not long before everything started. Convinced it was the source of the activity, he got rid of it, but the activity didn't stop. In fact, it seemed to get worse. Watch closely.
¿Qué onda, raza? Otra vez está escuchando que le están pegando allá afuera. Vamos a ver qué rollo. Ya tiene una semana que no pasaba esto, pero otra vez escuchó que le están pegando allá al tanque de gas. Vamos a ver qué. Ese tanque de gas es el que le pegan. Pero no. Ya tenía una semana que no pasaba. Cerrar la puerta porque está canijo. Guachen, raza. Sí, guachen, raza. No hay nada, raza. Está saliendo de control esto. Ya tiene una semana que no pasaba nada, raza.
Many believe this happens when an object doesn't contain the entity. It simply attracts it. Once whatever was drawn in becomes attached to the house or the person, removing the object does nothing. Others suggest something darker, that the doll wasn't the cause at all, just a distraction, while something else in the home had already taken hold. And if that's true, then getting rid of the doll may have only removed the warning sign. Whether this is lingering attachment, misdirection, or something far worse, one thing is clear. Whatever is in that house never left. And for now, this remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, footage captured on August 14th, 2018, inside the Watts house in Frederick, Colorado, just one day after Christopher Lee Watts ended the life of his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their two daughters, Bella, who was just 4 years, and Celeste, who was 3 years. While investigators were inside the home, documenting the scene and searching through the house, this happened. Watch closely.
There's plenty of first entry here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What in the world is that? Wow. Go in there and step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that noise came from.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It might. It sort of sounds like it.
Something. I heard it.
That one, did you hear it?
I did.
Sounded like a kid giggling or something, didn't it? Or a kid.
It did.
Where did that come from? Because all he did was go straight in there. That was strange. Well, we'll make a note of that.
I heard it.
definitely heard the same thing you did.
Yeah, and then he just sort of turned around and looked. I didn't expect that the red stuff.
The investigators pause, clearly confused, and try to locate where the sound came from. What makes this even more disturbing is the timing. The house had only just become a crime scene. Emotions were still heavy in the air, and many believe places where extreme trauma occurs can hold on to energy, especially when lives are taken violently and suddenly. Skeptics argue it may have been a mechanical noise or audio distortion, but those who've watched the clip closely say it sounds eerily human. Until more explanations surface, this moment inside the Watts house remains one of the most chilling and heavily debated pieces of footage tied to the case. In the following video, a guy staying at his parents' house for the holidays is up late watching Stranger Things when he starts hearing knocking sounds coming from outside. At first, he brushes it off because the house is surrounded by woods, the wind is strong, and the nearest neighbor is nearly a quarter-mile away, so it feels easy to explain. But then something else happens. A bottle sitting right next to him, one he'd been using as a spitter, suddenly starts vibrating on its own. Instead of ignoring it, he opens Snapchat and leaves it recording, hoping to catch either the knocking again or the bottle moving so he can send it to his brother. Watch closely.
What the...
The next morning, he shows the video to his parents, and that's when an unsettling detail finally comes out. His father admits that during the open house 3 years earlier, he saw a shadow move across the wall beneath a skylight. He never told anyone because he wanted the property badly and didn't want to scare his wife away from buying it, so he kept it quiet. Now, people are connecting the dots. Some believe whatever his father saw back then never left, only stayed dormant until someone noticed it again. Others think the shadow, the knocking, and the vibrating bottle point to something reacting to attention, something that becomes more active once acknowledged. And with the house sitting isolated in the woods, many wonder how long this presence has really been there, and whether it's only just beginning to make itself known. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian heads out on another solo investigation, this time to the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. Built back in 1885, the jail operated for 84 years before shutting down in 1969 due to serious safety concerns. The rotating cell mechanism was known to jam, sometimes trapping inmates inside for hours, and over the years, many believe it trapped something else too. The jail once housed serial killer Jake Bird, whose spirit is often said to still linger within the building, but that's not who Ian is focused on tonight. After arriving, Ian makes his way to one specific cell, one that belonged to an inmate named Harry, who died while incarcerated here. Harry was known for an extreme habit, reportedly smoking anywhere from 150 to 200 cigarettes a day. Watch closely.
Harry, are you here with me? Make a sound if you're in here. Whoa. Thank you. I just heard that. That was like a knock on the wall. Harry, if you knocked on this wall, or one of these walls, could you do it again? Okay, he is definitely in here.
Later, as Ian begins taking photos inside the cell, he notices something unsettling.
It's kind of weird. Some of my photos are turning out really hazy looking. That's so weird. I don't know what that's about. Is that you I'm seeing, Harry? I'm getting like these hazy photos. It looks like there's like a fog in here. Well, that one's completely clear. Where'd it go? Harry, you lighting up a cigarette in here? It almost looks like smoke in here. Yeah, that's weird. It's like gone now.
It almost looks as if Harry never really left. So was this just a trick of light? Or did Ian momentarily step into a moment from the past that never moved on? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded around 3 a.m. by a guy who struggles to sleep at night, so he usually keeps himself busy until the exhaustion finally kicks in. On this particular night, he was watching TV like he always does, but when he stood up to head to bed, he suddenly felt something. Watch this.
What's up? What the f? Did you hear that jingle then? You hear that jingle? That definitely moved. What the f is going on in this house? And my cat as well just keeps doing this. My cat just keeps walking around meowing, which is also freaking me out. So weird. So weird. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to do me harm? Are you friendly? Whoa, what the f? Nah. Nah, f off. No way. What the f? No, man. No way that just moved. Loki? Loki? You need to get out of my house, whatever you are, whoever you are, you need to leave. You need to leave right now. I don't know what's going on.
The moment viewers saw the African mask hanging on his wall, the comments section exploded. People wanted to know where he got it, how long he'd had it, and whether its presence lined up with the strange activity he'd been experiencing. And the more he talked, the more everything started to make sense. He revealed that he's owned the mask for a year, but it had only been inside his home for a couple of months. And ever since then, he'd been hearing noises while lying in bed. Light taps, distant footsteps, soft shuffling in the hallway. At first, he ignored it, but now it's escalating. Another morning, around 4 a.m., wide awake again and unable to shake the uneasiness, he finally decided to make a video for everyone begging to see the mask up close. Watch.
Anyone's got any opinions on this after they've seen it up close? What kind of mask it is? How old it might be? No expert. But what the
Well, that's not freaky, is it? Jesus Christ. Sake. I'm tripping over stuff now. Hello? Hello? No. Everyone's been saying, why have you got the lights off all the time? The landing light does not work, right? There's no bulb in this light. Because usually I ain't shit scared of going upstairs. But I'm doing this because I just want to try and prove to you all there's nobody in the house but me and whatever the this is with me. Oh! Oh my god! Oh, fucking hell. There was a figure in the window. There was a silhouette in the window. There was a silhouette in the window. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why are you doing this? Huh?
After that clip surfaced, his viewers began sharing their own experiences with similar African masks. Some claimed the masks brought them sudden waves of bad luck until they removed them from their homes. Others said their once quiet house became strangely active and unsettling the moment the mask was hung up. Many urged him to get rid of it before whatever was attached to it got comfortable. And here's where things get even more intriguing. In many African cultures, traditional masks aren't just decorations. They're spiritual artifacts. Some are used in ceremonies to honor ancestors, summon spirits, or protect the tribe. But others serve as conduits, symbols meant to channel ancient energies, often tied to rituals outsiders may not fully understand. If a mask like this was once used in a ritual or belonged to a lineage of spiritual significance, it could carry an imprint, a presence. So the real question is, does he just have an artifact on his wall, or did he unknowingly bring something ancient into his home? In this next clip, two friends were on their way home after a party. They were still laughing, still hyped, and decided to record a quick video to send to the friends who couldn't make it, just to show them how the night went and how chaotic the party had been. But while filming that harmless update, they ended up capturing something entirely different. Have a look.
Got my son in the back seat. Shut your You ain't getting no ice cream! Ah! Why do you scream like that? No. Hello? Hello? I don't like that. Did that was her. Grab the phone. What the heck? Did we just catch a paranormal Grab the phone. I'm not doing this no more. Grab the phone. I'm trying. Don't leave me. What do you do? I'm about to fall on my face. No, I'm not. No! No, do not. Hey, door. Is it still recording? Yes! Oh my god, it's me.
Now, here's where things get strange. The exact moment they screamed, the car's light suddenly went off. But could there be a normal explanation? Some people think so. They argue that loud vibrations inside a car can loosen wiring or cause an already faulty light to flicker. Maybe the timing was just a strange coincidence, but others aren't buying it. They point out that the light didn't dim. It cut out instantly, like something interfered with the energy around them. Some are convinced they might have stirred up something they couldn't see, something that reacted the moment their voices spiked. So did their screaming disrupt the car light, or did they unknowingly catch a paranormal moment on camera? You decide. Now in this next video, a woman named Jennifer Ricks stumbled upon an old clip her daughter recorded about a year ago. Before finding this video, Jennifer had already been dealing with strange things around the house. Moments where she'd be sitting completely still, home alone, and a dark shadow would walk past the hallway like it had somewhere to be. Her dog, normally calm, also barks at odd hours of the night, sometimes staring into corners as if watching something move. But she never connected any of it. Not until she saw this clip. According to her daughter, the moment she was filming, it felt like someone was trying to take a peek at her from behind the door. That quiet, unsettling sensation of being watched, the same feeling Jennifer herself had dismissed for months. And when you put this clip side by side with all the strange things that have been happening in the house, it's hard not to understand why Jennifer now believes something is truly off. But the real fear isn't what they've already seen, it's what might come next. If this presence has been around for over a year without them realizing it, what else has it been doing that they haven't noticed yet? Until more updates come in, this one remains completely unsolved. The following footage was taken by a man's home camera, and what he later saw still stuns him to this day. Have a look.
You want to see something weird? I have the blink camera and the poltergeist static. Now I know that nobody is home. I check back on the footage and I see a light turn off downstairs. But there's nobody home. Nobody home. Nobody home. Very weird, but a very, very good capture. Check this out. I mean, people could be like, oh, well, there was somebody down there, and I wouldn't post something like that, right? This is crazy.
The craziest part of this footage is that you can clearly hear the sound of the light switch being flipped. That sharp, unmistakable click that only happens when someone physically touches it. Your first thought might be an intruder, right? Someone wandering through the house without his knowledge. But that theory falls apart quickly when you know the other things he's shared. objects in his house have moved suddenly without explanation. A few times, items have even fallen on him, as if pushed, and more than once, he's caught faint laughter echoing from this exact same room. Soft, almost playful, but definitely not human. Viewers who analyzed his older clips pointed out something else: strange-looking dolls and toys scattered around the room, some with faces that look unsettlingly worn or distorted. He's never addressed their origin, but people can't help but wonder if one of them is tied to whatever's going on. So when you take everything together, the laughter, the objects moving, the eerie toys, and now a light switch flipping on its own, the idea of an intruder becomes the least likely explanation. It feels more like something has made this room its space, something that doesn't mind being heard, and now doesn't mind being seen. But in the end, I'll leave it to you. What do you think he's dealing with? Having a home camera is like having an extra pair of eyes watching the moments you never even knew were happening. And that's exactly what happened in this next clip you're about to see. Watch. The camera suddenly detected movement, followed by loud banging and knocking that seemed to come out of nowhere. The owner of the house said it felt like something was there, something she couldn't see but definitely could hear. That's why she decided to share the footage online, hoping other people might catch something she's been missing. So take another look. What else do you see in this clip? In this next clip, a man and his son went to check on a storage unit where he keeps all his fancy collectibles and strange antiques. But lately he's been convinced something malevolent is inside that unit. Objects shift on their own, and even the employees have reached out to complain about loud crashes and bangs coming from his space. They even invited him over so they could show him the clips themselves, and confirm whether he was anywhere near the facility when those sounds were recorded. But he wasn't. And that only made his suspicions feel a whole lot more real. But the staff didn't believe him at first, so he decided to prove it. He set up cameras inside the unit. Watch.
But just watch the video for yourself.
After he posted this clip, viewers swarmed the comments warning him to never take the cursed monkey doll home. This doll, which cost him nearly $2,000, has a history he didn't know about until it was too late. From the moment he brought it into the unit, the activity escalated. Wherever this doll sits, things fall, objects slide, and even heard from people that once owned something like it, that it might be tied to old ceremonial practices, or that the doll was once used as a vessel in rituals meant to house wandering spirits. Whether any of that is true, well, that's up for debate, but one thing is certain, he's never carrying that doll home. Now, in this next video, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his exploration inside one of Nebraska's most notoriously haunted places, the Argo Hotel. If you've been following his investigations, you already know this place has a reputation for strange activity, and Ian has captured plenty of it on camera. But on this night, after wrapping up his walkthrough, he realized there was one room he hadn't checked. Watch.
Those are some freaky dolls. Did you just make that noise? It definitely came from over here. Little girl, if that was you, would you be able to... Oh, God! Alright, that's it. That's it. That doll just turned and looked at me, and I am done. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Alright, guys. I know I ran, but damn, that was freaky. I don't know. I just couldn't handle it down there anymore. There's just a whole nother feeling, especially when you're all by yourself. Oh man, that was so freaking crazy. I can't believe that doll just turned and looked at me like that. It looked like it was possessed. Like it literally, like I was worried I was gonna get possessed or something. Like, oh my gosh, dude, that was so freaking scary. Holy moly. But anyways, I'm gonna leave cameras down there for the rest of the night. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'm about at my limit for now. But this is a fantastic location. I absolutely love this place. This was such a fun investigation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, be sure to like it. Again, comment your thoughts down below, and also subscribe if you haven't already. But I'll see you guys on the next one.
The doll suddenly turns, slowly, directly toward him, almost like it's aware of him, like it's responding. And in that moment, Ian is done. Completely done with this place. He leaves immediately. No hesitation, no second guesses. But the question is, how did it move? The most well-known spirit in the Argo Hotel is a woman named Alice, believed to haunt the basement. According to local stories, she passed away in childbirth in the 1940s, and people say she still wanders the halls searching for her lost baby. Some think she attaches herself to children's toys. Others believe dolls act as vessels that make it easier for her to communicate. Whatever the case may be, the Argo Hotel continues to leave investigators with more questions than answers, and to this day, the mystery remains. In the following clip, a family's home security camera captures something they never expected involving their young son, who is autistic and extremely sensitive to changes in his environment. His parents explain that he's very routine-oriented and easily distressed by anything being out of place, especially at night. One night, while the entire household was asleep, they suddenly heard their son screaming in terror. Watch.
Mom, the elf got a man behind the door. Help!
Imagine waking up around 1 a.m. to your autistic son crying, insisting that the elf on the shelf had moved on its own. For those unfamiliar, Elf on the Shelf is a popular holiday tradition where parents move a small elf figurine around the house each night to make it appear as though it's watching children's behavior for Santa. The rule is simple: the elf only moves when no one is watching. But in this case, no one was touching it when it moved. What makes this more unsettling is that the child was genuinely terrified, not confused or playful. Some viewers believe the stress of the tradition itself can cause children, especially those with sensory sensitivities, to panic when something appears different. Others point out that Elf on the Shelf has long been tied to darker folklore: small watching figures, silent observers, and objects believed to invite unwanted attention into a home. A few even argue that objects meant to watch children, even symbolically, can create fear-based expectations that manifest in disturbing ways. Whether this was a misunderstanding, a moment of heightened fear, or something far more unsettling, one thing is certain: the family hasn't been able to look at that elf the same way since. But what do you think happened here? Now, this next clip is an update from a previous video about a family who went to check out an apartment they were considering renting. At first, everything seemed normal. until just minutes after stepping inside, an unidentified voice was suddenly heard whispering the word Jadis. At the time, many viewers believed it could have been interference, audio distortion, or even someone outside the apartment, but something about the voice didn't sit right. After that video gained attention, the woman went back through the footage she recorded inside the apartment, and that's when she noticed something else she completely missed before. Watch closely.
Oh my god.
Just like the previous video, another voice can be heard. This time, some people swear they hear it saying, "Don't buy," almost like a warning. Others hear what sounds like a young boy softly saying, "Hello, Mum," while a different group of viewers are convinced the voice is saying, "Grandpa." What makes this unsettling is how common whispers are in reports tied to supposedly empty homes. Paranormal researchers often say whispered voices are one of the earliest signs of a presence, especially in places with emotional residue, homes where someone may have lived, passed away, or never fully moved on. Unlike loud noises, whispers are believed to be intentional, subtle, and directed, meant to be heard by specific people rather than caught accidentally. The first clip left many viewers deeply concerned, questioning whether the family went through with renting the apartment. But later, she confirmed that they didn't. And judging by what was captured on camera, many believe that decision may have spared them from something far more unsettling, whether the voices were warning them away or trying to make contact. This apartment clearly isn't as empty as it appears. In this next video, a woman who's been experiencing strange activity in her home finally manages to capture something on camera. For a while now, she's claimed to see dark figures appearing briefly in different parts of the house, always just out of full view, always gone the moment she looks directly at them. One evening, while she was home alone, she stepped out of her bathroom and noticed something unusual. Watch closely.
I hear a woman humming. Xavier hears it too. You heard it too, huh?
As she walks out of the bathroom, she catches sight of something black moving. At first, she assumes it's just a shadow or her eyes adjusting to the lighting, but when she turns her head, the shape is still there, a dark, human-like figure peeping before vanishing moments later. Many viewers believe this could be what's commonly referred to as a shadow figure, entities often described as pitch-black silhouettes that appear briefly and disappear without a trace. Others think it could be tied to stress, fatigue, or the brain misinterpreting familiar spaces, especially when someone is alone and alert. But some point out that seeing a figure clearly enough to turn and face it suggests something more than imagination. Whether this was a shadow entity, residual energy, or something her mind can't explain yet, one thing is certain: whatever she saw felt real enough to leave her shaken. But Stego you think she's dealing with? Now, in this next clip, a family is dealing with the terrifying consequences of opening their door to something knocking in the middle of the night. At first, they thought it was just a mistake, maybe a neighbor, maybe kids playing a prank, but ever since that moment, their nights have been anything but normal. Sleep has become nearly impossible. Objects shift around the house on their own, voices are heard when no one else is awake, and the knocking never truly stops. It only moves, echoing from different parts of the home. Watch this.
Voy a ir a ver, güey.
Sí, sí, ve.
Ya estoy grabando, ¿eh?
Sí, ya. Con cuidado, el palo, el tubo, ¿cómo está?
No mames, pero está tocando bien de güey. Aquí está, aquí está, aquí. A la máquina, güey. Márcala a la policía, güey. Sí. A la madre. A su Hey, hey. Ábreme, hijo de tu puta madre. ¿Qué quieres? Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. ¿Quién eres? Soy el que andas buscando. ¿O que me querías ver? Aquí estoy. Ábreme. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. ¿Qué eres? Soy el que tú quieres ver, cabrón. Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. ¿Por qué estás molestando aquí? Aquí no hay nada. Y ahí le llamé a la patrulla, ¿eh? Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. ¿Querías verme? Pues aquí estoy. Pues entra a ver. Ya estoy adentro de tu casa. Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. Lárgate a chingar a tu madre de aquí. Ya le hablé a la patrulla, ¿eh? Ábreme, hijo de tu pinche madre. Ya estoy ahí adentro de tu casa. Ya viene la patrulla, nada más te aviso, ¿eh? Lárgate de aquí. Lárgate. Ya le hablaste a la patrulla.
What makes this moment especially unsettling is that whatever is inside the house doesn't just knock anymore. This time, it responds. Paranormal researchers often warn that responding to unknown knocking or voices at night is one of the worst things you can do. Many believe it's an invitation, an acknowledgement that gives whatever is outside permission to cross a boundary. In this case, it seems whatever entered that night may be growing stronger, or worse, drawing in other presences. Some believe one spirit can act like a doorway, inviting others to follow. And judging by how the activity has escalated, this family may no longer be dealing with just one thing. But until we receive more updates from the family, this remains unsolved. The following clip was recorded by a team of paranormal investigators who entered a house already known for intense activity. From the moment they stepped inside, they said the atmosphere felt heavy, almost oppressive, like they were being watched. In a previous video we shared about this same location, their first instinct was to pray, something many believe can provoke or expose darker entities rather than calm them, and in that case, the prayers seemed to force whatever was in the house to make itself known. This time, their attention was drawn to a creepy doll sitting quietly inside the home. Instead of avoiding it, they decided to use it as part of an experiment. Watch closely.
Oricare spirit te află aici, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare suflet neliniștit, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială prin care am fost investit, îți ordon să miști pina aia. Marș de aici! Bă, mea!
Râmea aia, băi, frate.
Marș de aici că nu cred așa ceva. Holy Jesus Christ! Îți ordon să miști pina aia. Marș de aici! Bă, mea! Vă arăt pina asta? Că nu-i legată cu nimic? Hă? Of, Doamne! Vă arăt pina asta? Hă?
Ridică mă, dă-o încoace, ia-o, răstoarnă, învârte-o și tot. Uite, Dumnezeu, uite.
Vă arăt pina asta care nu-i legată cu nimic?
Uite picioarele în ea, măi.
Hă? Dacă răbușa nu e abonată de asta.
Dar oricum poate să filmezi, stai să...
Vă arăt, mă, puterea asta primordială?
There was nothing attached to the doll. No strings, no tricks, no hidden mechanism. The doll moved on its own. Some viewers argue the movement could be explained by balance or vibrations, but one of the investigators wasn't convinced that this alone was enough proof. So they decided to test something else nearby, choosing a completely different object to rule out coincidence. Take a look.
Oricare spirit te afla, oricare entitate, oricare demon, oricare strigoi, prin puterea primordială prin care am fost investit de către patriarh, îți ordon să miști.
Mila.
Mișcă poza aia sau dă-o jos, fă ceva. Mași de aici! Aoleu! Uitați pozele, uitați poșetele, uitați poza că nu e legată cu nimic. Da? Uitați. Uitați pozele, uitați. Da? Da, Doamne.
After the second attempt, it became much harder to dismiss what was happening. Two separate objects responding under similar conditions suggested this wasn't just about the doll itself. Still, wanting absolute confirmation, they pushed further and attempted one final test. This time, they focused on something much larger.
Prin puterea prin care am fost investit, să rup perdeaua aia. Trage-o cât are.
Băi, Ali, băi. Doamne, maica,
The curtain suddenly moved with force. Many believe this escalation is significant, and some say it shows the presence growing more aggressive the more it's challenged, while others warn that repeated provocation can turn a passive entity into a dangerous one. According to paranormal belief, spirits that respond with increasing force aren't simply playful, they're territorial, reactive, and possibly hostile. Whether this was a buildup of energy, a violent entity asserting control, or something darker reacting to being tested, one thing is clear. Whatever was inside that house didn't like being questioned. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian investigates the Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater, and this time he heads down into the basement. At first, everything feels calm, just old artifacts, storage rooms, and the quiet hum you'd expect from a historic building. But that calm doesn't last long. Watch and listen closely.
Creepy old fireplace. Oh my god, those sounded like voices. Hello? That legit sounded like people talking. Who's talking? Okay, there's definitely someone in there. It sounds like people talking in here. Hello? Who's in there? Talk to me. What's your name? Oh my gosh. Is there someone in here? There's literally nobody in here. Yet it sounded like there were. Oh. What's that smell?
The voices sound distant, almost conversational, as if someone is speaking just out of sight. Ian pauses, trying to pinpoint where it's coming from, when something else happens that confirms his suspicion that he isn't alone.
Alright, I know somebody's down here with me. Could you give me a sign of your presence? The door just opened! Oh my god! What just happened? Look at that. What? Are you serious? How do you explain that? That drawer just went boom. It just opened by itself. Thank you for opening the drawer. Could you shut it? That cigar smell is a lot stronger over here. It literally feels like there's 4 different spirits here sitting in each one of these chairs. And one of them just opened that. I can't thank you enough for opening that drawer. Thank you so much, because that was phenomenal. You got my heart rate going up. No way. It just moved again. Did you see that? Oh my God. I have no explanation for that. Wow, I am blown away. Thank you so much again.
This time, the movement isn't dramatic, but it's deliberate enough to catch his attention. Some viewers believe it's a response, subtle, controlled, and intentional. Ian considers possible explanations like pressure changes or airflow, but he can't find anything in the basement that would account for what just happened. Adding to the unease, longtime staff and investigators have shared rumors about this basement over the years. Some claim it's a hotspot for unexplained voices, especially late at night. Others say footsteps can be heard pacing back and forth when no one else is below, while a few report feeling sudden dizziness or heaviness in their chest after spending too much time down there. There are even stories suggesting the basement may have been used for private meetings and rehearsals long ago, leaving behind residual energy tied to intense emotion. So what do you think? Lingering energy from the theater's long history, or something more dangerous? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following clip, an explorer visits Presidio de San Saba in Menard, Texas, a location many believe is haunted not just by legend but by history soaked in violence. Built in the mid-17th century, this Presidio became the site of brutal conflict involving Spanish settlers and Comanche and Wichita tribes. Historical accounts describe violent attacks, torture, and countless lives lost on this very ground. People who never had the chance to leave peacefully. While exploring the ruins late at night, the explorer records with his phone in his right hand, holding a flashlight firmly in his left. As he scans the corner of the structure, something completely unexpected happens. A dark shadow suddenly comes into view. Watch closely.
Here's the room I'm in. There's the K2. There's the REM pod. There's the wall all the way to the corner.
What makes this moment so unsettling is where he's standing. He's backed into a corner with no visible objects nearby that could cast a moving shadow like that. Even more convincing, you can clearly see his hand on camera. The phone is steady in one, the flashlight fixed in the other, and yet the shadow moves in the opposite direction. Viewers also notice something else when pausing the footage frame by frame. For a split second, the shadow appears to have horn-like protrusions, giving it a shape that looks disturbing. That detail alone sparked intense debate online. Considering the violent past of Presidio de San Saba, a place where suffering, fear, and death once filled the air, many believe this wasn't just a trick of the light. Others argue there must be a rational explanation we're missing. So what do you think? Is this simply a shadow playing tricks on the eye? Or did this explorer momentarily capture something that never truly left these grounds? You decide.